Hello everyone and welcome to our new show.
Did you drink much before you came, personally?
Loneliness is a huge thing in uni too.
But it's like they don't actually even want to be there.
FOMO, which I think is a huge thing. I'm George Herman.
I'm Jay.
I felt like I've completely reinvented myself now.
Then 100%, but it's like there's two sides of the coin. My attendance weren't good last year.
What do you think really made it difficult for you? You don't need to change who you are to fit in with a certain crowd. The people should be there for you and love you for who you are. That's just a concrete thing that a lot of people forget, especially when they come to uni. Because a lot of people... And we decided to make this show because at this age, we've really realised that we are really a work in progress. So we wanted to get on here and make a show that talks about important topics directly to you guys. And so we can directly tell you that you're not alone in this and we are all a work in progress. Now let's get on with our first episode.
Nicely done.
Okay, so our first episode is based on uni pressures. Now I'm sure, like me, obviously we're both students, so we know that when we first came to uni there were a lot of pressures.
It was quite
hectic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What was one of the main ones for you personally?
The drinking.
Yeah.
If I'm being so real. Do you not remember like when we first came and we
Yeah.
also... No, not even that. It was like when we first started like being mates, because you not remember how like I don't know, I felt a bit awkward when I met everyone because me and you spoke before.
Yeah.
So you messaged me being like, oh, let's go find each other, and then we found each other, but then you've got all of these new people that you've never met before, and like you're already like making preconceived judgments on them.
I think one of the main things is that you come to uni and you have that stress of meeting new people, and it can be quite daunting if you hadn't gone out or hadn't drank before, because drinking is a huge part when you get to uni.
Did you drink much before you came, personally?
I did, yeah, because my brother.
But your brother was a problem.
Shout out Tommy.
Shout out Tommy Herbert.
But yeah, but a lot of people I know weren't used to that.
Yeah.
And it was quite daunting for them, and it can be. But that's why, when you start uni, it's good to find the people that are on your level. Because I feel 100%. Like we did, which was a good thing.
No, because we were a bit crazy.
Yeah.
But it's nice because it's like, I don't know, when I started it was fun, but it was more like after that, because you go for like your freshers and then everyone's drinking, everyone's like sleeping together, everyone's doing all of this crazy stuff. But like I feel like there's been people who like I've spoke to personally who have just done that to like fit in at the start.
I think that's a huge thing. I think that people trying to fit in by doing things that aren't them, I think is a huge thing that people experience in uni.
And I think like people don't really talk about that a lot.
No, definitely not.
Because people are like, they're like that in it, bro. They're like, they go from one thing to the other to the other. It's like that party, this party, that night out. I want to get with her. I want to get with him. I want to sleep with them, which is fine. Like it's all about like the balance in it. Like because you gotta live when you're young.
Exactly.
But then it's a weird one.
I think there's a huge thing with that sort of stigma. But I also think that it is okay to experiment with those things.
Yeah,
Drinking
100%.
for the first time, especially if you are going to uni for the first time, this is your first proper experience dealing with, drinking and doing all other things.
It's intimidating though, isn't it?
Very, very. And it can be hard. Like, we know that loneliness is a huge thing in uni too. We have a full thing of drinking and going out, just trying to fit in, but we also have the loneliness and people that feeling like they don't fit in because that's not
Which
them.
is a shame.
It is, yeah.
Because imagine the amount of people who feel that way, like it's not, like feel lonely because they don't want to drink and they feel like they have to. If all of them people like knew about each other and they actually like spoke about it and actually said, this is how I feel, people would relate to them. Like, you don't need to go out getting like drunk. Like, don't get me wrong, it's great. You could go out and play like Snakes and Ladders at the library or like D&D. We know loads of people who play D&D.
Yeah.
And it's like stuff like that because like there is literally a market for everything in uni, especially when you go to like a city like we obviously go to Leeds.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people do need to do is just talk. I think the loneliness is a huge aspect. I feel like when you come to uni and you're exposed to all of that, you get quite scared if you're not that type of person to be.
It's like anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a huge thing that comes with uni as well.
I
Like,
agree.
people in general always struggle with those things, especially when you're thrown into this new world on your own. And it is daunting, but it's okay for that to be daunting. You're going into, whether it's a new city or it's a new town, these things are hard.
What was something that you did? Like, did you ever feel anxious when you first came? And if so, what was it that you did to like kind of get yourself and push yourself out of your comfort place?
There's always anxiety when it comes to coming somewhere new.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally had just come from a very small village.
In the south.
Exactly.
Is one of them.
Yeah, exactly. So when I came to uni, it was my first time living in a city.
That is true. Yeah.
And at face value, that's daunting.
Yeah.
And of course, you're always going to be quite anxious when you go somewhere new just to meet new people. But for me personally, I was so excited that it masked anything that I had anxious-wise. Personally, I really felt that I had to make an effort to go out there because I love doing that as well. I'm a very talkative person.
Yeah.
But that was my sort of... That's why it's different, because you get people that are on that side of the spectrum that are really open to being out there and talking and getting around and you know, making sure that they create spaces which are comfortable, which we're both similar in that way.
Yeah.
But I also think that you do see people who are lonely a lot, who feel like they are lonely, and you can tell. And you can tell people try and do things which you know aren't fully.
Because then they're not going to be happy, and they look miserable also doing them. Like, you know, like say if you go to a party and you don't know random people, there are, like, I'm sure people can relate to it. Like, there's going to be people there just like sat by themselves, and which isn't a problem, like. But it's like they don't actually even want to be there. They just like, it's like FOMO, fear of missing out, fear of like thinking that they can be. And it's just strange because I love them people. I was having this conversation with somebody and I was like, sometimes just treat them like your co-workers. Like, go on like a night out with them once in a while, but then you can have your friends separate from your course if everyone in your course is not on your vibe.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Did you find it when you first moved? Did you have that anxiety as well? And considering, like you said about FOMO, which I think is a huge thing.
Yeah,
huge thing.
Yeah.
Did you feel like FOMO was a huge thing that you sort of had to conquer a bit?
Yeah.
Or was it more...
I wouldn't say I've conquered FOMO yet.
Yeah.
Though. Would you say you've conquered... Like, it's awful.
No, definitely not.
We go out. I'm going out. We've both been walking to like a night out before, and we see a house party. Random people we don't know. We're like...
And we get a bit
random
upset
party.
about
We're going out
yeah.
anyway, and we're just like... Fuck.
Yeah.
That could be like a better motive, which is bad.
100%. But I think
we're
quite
like
think
thinking,
it is.
though, aren't we? We're quite very like
we're very
on
excitable
it.
and, like,
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think that that's something that we can really like work on.
Yeah.
You know, that
100%.
because everyone's different, and I think that's a huge thing that everyone should realize too, is that you don't need to change who you are to fit in with a certain crowd. The people should be there for you and love you for who you are. That's just a concrete thing that a lot of people forget, especially when they come to uni, because a lot of people think that they should be someone else or they should change for someone else, but it's not the case.
It's
and
also
I think
a chance to reinvent yourself, though.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? It's like I feel what you're saying 100%, but it's like there's two sides of the coin.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Which is, would you say you ever reinvented yourself?
100%.
What, when you came to uni?
Yeah.
Would you say?
I think I was getting to the point where I was finding out who I was properly, but you know, since coming to uni, me being a new person and you know, just enjoying my time with people that you know I've never met before and completely starting fresh, I felt like I've completely reinvented myself now. I feel so much more comfortable. Would you say you have, or?
Yeah, a little bit, but I don't
so.
know. Yeah, I think I've changed a bit. It's a weird one because obviously we came into uni and it is different.
Yeah.
But I would say like I was a year older. I've already done like the clubbing and like the stuff for like a gap year, didn't I?
Could I ask a quick question attached to that? And for everyone else who has come to uni, say a year older, taking a gap year, what did you think was different? And was there anything where you were like, oh, you know, for God's sake,
honestly,
it's a bit different? Yeah, honestly.
Right.
Because it can be daunting as well. Because you're like,
yeah.
I'm around a bunch of 18-year-olds.
I think the age gap between 19 and 18 is massive.
I agree.
Have you seen now?
Yes.
Well, obviously, like you're 20 now, but when you were 19, did you look at 18-year-olds and be like, "Oh wow"? Like
Yeah.
there is quite a chunk.
There is. I feel like 19 is
It's a
where you
big
really
year.
grow.
18 to 19 is a huge year.
Yeah.
I reckon.
So what did you find like was a huge thing for you?
I wasn't too fussed, like with it at all. It was more of just like, because obviously I had a girlfriend at the time who I moved with, so I feel like I was quite lucky in that aspect.
Yeah.
I had someone from back home who I knew very well, who I had like spent all of my time with, so I was blessed in that I didn't have to have some of the same like trials and tribulations as someone who literally came like straight off the boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had nobody there.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, I was blessed, so I can't talk too much on that.
But I guess there were things that were sort of not annoyances, but more things where you were like, in terms of maturity level. I'm sure that was a huge thing.
Yeah, of course. But luckily, like, I've met you, didn't I? And you're
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Because, like, for people who don't know George is like the most mature person on planet Earth, essentially. So I've met him, and like, yeah, he's fun, but he's mature. But like other people, I feel like we're a bit different. I do feel a bit like pretentious saying that though, because I can be a bit immature.
No, not at all.
But that's just me observing.
But also as well, that's an important thing to bring up, is that immaturity is not having fun. Do you know what I mean?
No, that's true.
And those lines actually do get blurred a lot with a lot of people. And a lot of people can call you mature or call anyone mature just because you're, making silly jokes or whatever. But that as well is a huge thing, because it's like that's not a case to be immature. That's just someone having fun. That's exactly why when you move to uni, those lines do get blurry. But at one point, I bet you're sort of like, oh, for God's sake,
Yeah.
Did you find that?
It was I felt I was drinking too much. I would always tell myself genuinely I would get bad about it, because it's like you drink a lot, and then as soon as you drink a lot, you eat bad. Like we even mentioned earlier, you drink a lot, you wake up the next day, you're eating like bloody the craziest, dirtiest like kebabs ever, and you sit, and that's gonna make you feel bad. Because I was thinking this the other day. Most of like uni students, I would say, are quite like sad or in bad headspaces. I would say a good 70% of people would, like, if you did a survey, would be like, I'm in a bad place.
Why do you think that is?
Realistically, and this, I understand there is balance to everything, but if you are essentially drinking every weekend, like doing drugs, sleeping with people, eating bad food, doing like, also like, do you know, like, it's like can get a bit high schooly, or maybe that group of people don't like me, what do they think of me? You're constantly thinking unhealthy things. It's not natural for what humans were like, if you look at it naturally.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge pressure, and I'm not saying that's bad, I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying realistically that's not going to be the best for your your mindset.
Definitely not. And I think we all forget that alcohol is a depressant.
Yeah,
that's
what I
right?
mean.
And it's one of those crazy things that sort of slips into our culture hundreds of years ago, and we're now at this age, 18, 19, 20, drinking a lot.
Also, it's like our livers, I don't even think are like fully developed yet at our age, Well, that's what my granddad said. I don't know if my granddad just wants me to stop drinking though, but that's what he says to me.
No, I think that's a good point, but also it's all about balance. I'm not going to sit here and go like
we drink a lot in it. We can't sit here and like we're going to be honest.
Exactly, and that's as well is that we can sit here and say all these things about drinking and all those things, but I think drinking is a huge thing that everyone just does, and I will continue to.
We will.
So we can't say that we will stop. We're just saying all about balance.
But it is a reason.
It's all about balance.
Yeah, I agree. And even though we won't stop, we will still go into it. And we're not like sitting here being like drinking's bad. We're just saying obviously doing them things is going to have an effect on you, and that you should be self-aware about.
Exactly, and I think they all play into part when you're talking about those things,
I
and
agree,
loneliness and everything. But fitting in and those daunting things, they are hard. Did you find that not so much the drinking and the social aspects, but what did you actually think about living somewhere on your own?
We lived at this accommodation, didn't we? Both
we did, yeah.
Refinery. Did you ever feel, because it was like one room, did you ever feel like sometimes it would just be like you're in like a box? Did you ever feel that?
In a way, but I sort of had that. I don't know. I sort of liked the idea of just you're staying somewhere for a year, and it's in its confined space, but it's quite interesting. Did you find that quite difficult?
I wouldn't say difficult, but I've also heard a lot of people did.
Right.
Because it was like, you go crazy, is what some people would say. But you got to think, like, we were quite lucky with how many people we met and how many things we were doing. Imagine if you were in that situation, but you didn't have places to go on these days.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that would have kind of like been challenging if you put yourself in the situation of somebody else?
Yeah, I think there was a huge amount of people that were staying in the same place we were.
Could you imagine what that would do for their like mindset? Their like
what if you were
mentality?
alone?
Yeah.
I think that's where the connection with your course and everything comes into play. Is that I think as well is that you really have to make an effort with these things though.
That is
you can't
true.
You can't sit and wait, and that applies for everything. You can't sit and wait for something to happen. If you were to feel like you do want to branch out and you do want to get out there, then you're going to have to make that step. And although it is, like I said, daunting, it's something that has to be done if you want to fulfill certain things in your life. And that's not harsh for me saying.
No,
it's the
not.
truth. Like, it really is.
Because it will become your fault.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it will do though. You got to be realistic about things. Like, it's hard and it's terrible and it's daunting, and you might have anxiety, and there might be external factors which do play a role in it. But if you don't make the effort to do it, the reality is, if you don't make the effort to socialise with people, to make friends, to go hang out with people, to invite people for a coffee or a beer, because it doesn't have to be alcohol, invite him for anything. If you don't make that effort, it's going to be your fault.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it.
Yeah, I think I completely agree. What did you think about, because we've covered social, we've covered, say, living in a new place for the whole time. What did you think about when you actually got and started your course? Did those other aspects, did they affect attendance, or did you feel quite comfortable balancing those things out for you personally?
That's a good question.
Talk about it.
Organisation, like in terms of time management was hard. I was awful at time management. My attendance weren't good last year.
What do you think really made it difficult for you?
For me, it was other priorities outside of uni.
Right. Yeah.
So like what relatable, like, people could understand most, for example, is like, say, a part-time job.
Yeah.
That required a lot of time. So say if you're doing that, it's like, or like you're working late, then you've got a 9 a.m. and then you're balancing a social life and then like other things you do as well. Because that's a really good point raising that though, because I feel like it is extremely common for people's attendances to be bad in uni. It's like a running joke, innit?
No, yeah, it is, yeah.
Like if you go online, there's all like memes and stuff about like,
people don't actually
go, and you're
up.
paying 10 grand.
Yeah, people don't turn up.
How much was it a day? Because you say it all, you all say it all the time.
For us personally, it's like 100 something. Yeah, it's
a lecture.
So people, yeah, but again, that all plays into part. Like, it was for that reason,
Yeah.
So I think that's also, you're not at fault for that, because a lot of people do that.
But like, actually deep it though. Actually, you're not at fault. And but if you deep it, every time you don't go in, you've just like lost 170 quid.
In a way, yeah. You technically actually have. But I think all of those...
Go into your lectures.
Yes, go to uni. But I think first year, you just experiment with those things and see what works.
Yeah, right? See what you can get away with.
That's the whole point. But I think that, to wrap up with the topics, I think that, to conclude, I think that, those aspects of social pressures, of drinking, of going out and doing all those things, I think that does play a huge part, and it is a sort of a domino effect for everything. I think that it's important to realise that, you're going somewhere on your own for the first time. It's quite daunting, but it will be okay, and we are all a work in progress.
That was cold. Did you see how you just wrapped that up then? George Herman. Hold on. Before we cut, I agree with George Herman.
Yes, final
We are a work in progress.
That's it.
Thank you so much for watching, guys.
I've been George Herman.
I've
been Jay Bridges.
I've been George Herman.
And we'll see you for the next one.
Make sure you watch, or else go to uni. Do you want to cut the camera?